Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir.
Jai Ho.
The beautiful Radha Vinod Bihari, Shachinandan Gaurahari. In Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Shri Gurudev Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaurahari Ki Jai. Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Radha Ramana Ju Ki Jai. Giriraj Mahārāja Ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So, if Jiva Pavana Prabhu is there, I'm sure he has already posted Mangalacharan.
Nope.
Okay. Every day I see he's already posted it. So, we're going to begin with Mangalacharan. It's page 1 of this book, which is getting a little bit, how do you say?
Well used and
yes,
loved.
it's turning into a Parikrama songbook. So it's page 1 of this book in Shri Gauriya Giti Gucha, starting with Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. And we sing it first because, well, it's not just a song, it is a prayer. Mangalacharan means auspicious invocation. So we are invoking the presence, the mercy, the grace of our Gurudev, of all of our Guru Varga, our entire Guru Parampara, all the way back to the original Guru.
Who is Krishna himself.
It's Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so actually it's Radha Krishna together.
You always say Krishna, and then today you do it different.
Well, I thought about it this time.
Pranam, dear Vaishnavas.
Dandavat Pranam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavaśta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagano Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagano Lalita Shri Vishakam Vikamshra Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Nārayaṇam Tvam Shirasam Namami Trigandiram Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Padāžnitaika Hriddi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasara Nārayaṇam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्तिप्रज्ञान केशवोत्तिनामिने अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानाञ्चपालिने जीवादुःखे सगर्गाय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीनामिने श्रीवर्षभारती देवी दयिताय कृपाभये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दयिने ब्रह्मवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणि श्रीमूर्तये दिनकारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धावो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे पदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौराशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगव्वरायते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दं मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमल श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानं स्मरामि श्रीमन्त्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवततस्थितः कार्षण्येन्दुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तु नः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवन्त्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयक्रैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलम् ततो नस्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Sandava Pranam, Hare Krishna. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Page 28 in our songbook. And if you don't have the songbook, then just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu. You'll see his name there, Jiva Pavana. And there he posts the bhajans along with their translations, usually followed by beautiful commentaries of our acharyas. And Lavangalata Didi from China posts the page numbers. So page 28, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakur, page 40.
Sadishka
Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chitera Vikar, page 48 in the songbook. If you don't have the songbook, just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there you will find the bhajan. Was that the 90%?
I think so. I didn't check what it was. I just tried to stop it from ending.
Vayo Vasanaro Chitte Robitaro Amaro Hridoye Bhokta Kore Kato je jataro ya Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī Pāda ki jai, Śrī Satyavrata Prabhu ki jai. Maybe if you close the curtains, less cold will come through the windows. Nitai Padakamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Jai Chayai Jogato Jurai, page 58. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vraj Mandal Parikrama Gauranga tumi more doyana chariho.
Page 78.
Page 78. You know that by heart?
No, I was waiting for you.
She
to
was
call it.
there. It was meant to be. And if you don't have the book, just scroll to Jiva Pavana Prabhu's comment, the most recent one.
Jai Ho.
Is he there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Dandava Pranam Prabhu.
Dandava Pranam. Always,
Gaurango tumi more doyana chari
Vaishnavas, I can't sing today.
She can sing. She's got a really good voice, but right now it's just a little difficult.
Which means I can't.
There's so many bhajans in here I've very rarely sung, but I'm not going to sing them today. Jaya Jaya Sundara Nanda Kumar, page 344. Maybe that was a 50% warning. It turns off at 50%, then it turns off at 90%, then it turns off at 100%, and then it keeps going. Jaya Jaya Sundara Nanda Kumar, Jaya Jaya Sundara Nanda Kumar, Jaya Jaya Sundara Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Page 341. Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Mandala Jaya if some of you may have noticed on the previous bhajan we sung, in there it said Bandana Sahakrita. If you have some knowledge of Sanskrit, there's a word Chandana, then there's a word Bandana, and then there's a word Vadana, and they all mean different things. According to the mood of the bhajan, throwing the word Bandana in there does not seem right, especially when you see the meaning or the translation. Vandana means with prayers. The prayers are decorating Krishna's face. But the bhajan that Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī wrote was all full of the moods and the rasa of Braj. They decorate his face with chandan. Or maybe they might be decorating his face, which would be vadana, but not with vandana, which would be offering prayers and making the decorations vehement. So it may just be a typo. So now we will sing Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam and then Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because we are still continuing with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. We're only in verse 2, so we will continue our extended Kartik, and we will continue also periodically going out on parikramas. So this is very exciting. So Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, page 290. Only yes.
Should I give another?
No, it works. Shri Shri Yashoda Damodar ki jai, Radha Ramanaju ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shalagam Shila ki jai, Ladu Gopal ki jai, and the little one you can't see.
He's there though.
And if you remain right until the very end, you will have close-up darshan of today's new Shringar. Sudevi dressed them today and they are looking splendid. Every time more and more splendid. I don't know how it's possible, but it is. And in the transcendental realm, that happens also every single time. More and more splendid forever. So 290.
So it's the Gaudiya tune.
Namami Sharam Sachidananda Rupam Tasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodamyo Ladhamanam Param Krishnamadhyam Tato Drutya Gopya Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundam Namo Shamudin Va Nachanam Prineha Varishanapiha Idam Deva Purnatha Gopalama Sada me manosyami rastam kimam Namami sharam Satchidanandam Lasakaram Bhupuri Brajama Idam te mukham kojam avyaktamilay Vritam panay singham Rataishcha gotyam Muhushmitam vignam Rakkanharam me Manasyami rastam Malam laksharam Namami sharam Satchidanandam Lasakaram Bhupuri Brajama Namo Devaram Garam Purishyo Prasida Prabhudukham Janabhimanam Kripadeshvishtyati Dinam Batam Vihare Shamadyam Vidyachideshya Namami Sharam Satchidanandam Lasakaram Bhupuri Brajama Kuberadhvajo Vadho Murtay Maya Vayamochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha Bhakate Bhavati Sakame Prayacha Namo Shigraho Śrī Dāmodara Satchidanandam Lasakaram Bhupuri Brajama Namaste Sudame Skuradi Vidhane Tvadiyadharayatha Vishwasya Bhane Navranitaye Tvadiyatriyaye Namo Radhe Radha Damodar ki jai, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Satyavrata Shri Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare गिरिराज महाराज की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।
Janardhan Prabhu is wondering what that tune is called.
New York Temple Kirtans.
Acha.
That's what we've
Do
named
you
it.
want me to keep this and watch it, or will you be able to be aware?
I'll try to be aware. It's okay.
Okay. It should be going off very soon.
Well, maybe you should. Well, I won't know unless it cuts. So, anyhow. So, dear devotees, we are having difficulty with our internet carrier.
We have no internet carrier.
Basically, they're charging but not providing. And so, I hope they're watching so that they can see this and rectify it. So we're trying to run off of the, our SIM cards. So please bear with us. Every time the SIM card goes to 50% or 90% data, then it shuts off whatever is streaming. So please forgive us if there's any difficulty. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanati Virandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Vanchākalpatarubhyascha Kripāsindhubhya evacha Patitānaṁ Pāvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vācālam pangum langayate girim yat kripātamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashto Tarashat Shri Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashto Tarashat Shri Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam, dear Vaishnavas, Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Radhe Shyam. So we're continuing with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Before we continue, one devotee was asking a question today about Yukta Vairagya. And it was quite interesting because in my research, I was reading from Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shrira Maharaj, I was reading from Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Maharaj, and I was reading about our Guru Varga. And sometimes, as devotees, we can get as devotees or aspiring devotees, if we are not under proper guidance, we can start getting very picky about minute details of certain things that can actually be a distraction from bhakti rather than a support for bhakti. And that's just the nature of Maya. Maya is expert at her job. Any little thing very easily can distract even one of our senses, whether it's a gross sense or a subtle sense, and drag our mind into Maya or illusion. As our Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada said, the moment that we are not Krishnamoy, completely absorbed in Krishna, then Maya begins to fill that space. Like a hole in the boat. If we're not aware of it and plugging it, the moment we are not watching, then Maya can easily crowd that space. Or we've heard that spiritual life is like the edge of a razor. I always thought it meant I'm walking on the edge of a razor, and if I'm not careful, I can easily fall off to either side. And then I read from the purport of Srila Prabhupada, the word is kshuram, and it means like a razor's edge. In India, they shave you with a straight razor. Straight razor means it's an open blade. It's not one of those nice protected ones with all the soft stuff that we use in the West. It's an open blade that's very, very sharp, and someone is there with shaving cream taking the hair off of your face, right down your neck like this. And Prabhupada said, one moment of not being aware or alert, then you get cut. So this is the meaning of spiritual life is like a razor's edge. We must be very careful and diligent, but even then Maya has her way of coming in and distracting our attention, and then months or years can go by and we'll be like, what happened to me? I was so absorbed in everything else. And so the subject of Yukta Vairagya came up. And Yukta Vairagya means transcendental renunciation. Transcendental renunciation means deep attraction to Krishna, by which everything and anything can be utilized in his service. And in this discussion, I was reading from Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shrira Maharaj. It was quite interesting, because what is the one thing that most devotees get really, really hung up on? This is essential for all of us. Mercy, daya. Especially don't eat meat, don't kill animals, etc. So, the vegetarian aspect. Actually, Vaishnavas are not vegetarian. We're prasaditarian. Because everything that we do, if it's not offered to Krishna, is only binding in sin. Those vegetables also have life. And if we don't offer it to Krishna, simply being vegetarian is not sufficient, then we will have to continue to rotate in the cycle of birth and death. And according to the laws of karma, we will have to become vegetables, and some human or animal will come and separate that soul from that vegetable body. In other words, we will be killed for someone's food. That is the nature of karma. Only when one offers something to Krishna for his happiness and pleasure, then he says, I remove all of the karma from that. Otherwise, everything we do in this world is binding in karma. So, as I was reading today, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shrira Maharaj was there with so many Vaishnavas, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, the guru of our Srila A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, the guru of our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, the guru of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, so many powerful, illustrious acharyas. He is their Gurudev. So in order to preach Krishna consciousness, in order to somehow or other attract you can say the intelligentsia, or those in positions of prominence, to hear about Krishna and maybe accept the conceptions of Godhead according to the version of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yad yad acharati shreshtas. Whatever those persons in positions of prominence do, whatever the big people do, the common people will follow. And that's just natural. It's the way it is. In every species of life, there's somebody in charge, and then there are those who tend to follow them. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada had decided that we should serve this person according to their natural requirement. In other words, arrange for outside catering for this person according to his dietary proclivity. And that included non-vegetarian items. Srila Śrīdhar Mahārāja, Srila Bhakti-Rakshak Śrīdhar Mahārāja said, I protested. And as he was protesting, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada cut him off. And he said, I've already decided 1,000 lifetimes ago. Whatever is necessary to serve the Absolute, we will leave no stone unturned. So with his extreme nishtha, with his extreme conviction, he was utilizing this thing, which normally most devotees would freak out about. But this is our Grand Guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And here he's bringing Lord Jetland to Yogapit in Mayapur to introduce him to the topics of Krishna Bhakti, knowing very well that if he can somehow or other come to that place, be in the association of any pure Vaishnava, hear the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna and Harinam, that very quickly, very soon, his heart would be purified, and not only would he give up all of those karmic negative things, but anyone he comes in connection with will also be benefited and purified. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was talking about this. Vaikuntha Vritti means the nature of the transcendental realm, which is devoid of this duality consciousness. Now, we should not go out and do our own thing and pretend that we know better. We should always be under guidance. But when we see that Acharya, he's able to utilize everything in the service of Krishna. For example, so many devotees might get very, very hung up over leather shoes. It's from an animal. But mridangas are also made of leather, and that is utilized in the service of Krishna. It is considered non-different from Baladev Prabhu, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, for the purpose of preaching. Although sannyasis technically should never wear shoes, yet he was wearing leather shoes. Now we can criticize him for it, but that wouldn't do us any good. Does it do good for the animal who, having given up his life, has given the leather for the service of the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada? Absolutely. That animal has been infinitely benefited, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is utilizing some part of that in the service of Krishna. Our Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, also told our Srila Gurudev in Mathura, he said, I have decided that if it is necessary to bring people to hear about Krishna, if it is necessary, then I will serve tea and I will serve meat or anything so that people will come to hear. Because I have faith that just by hearing the glories of Krishna and by the power of Harinam, very soon their hearts will be changed, and very easily they will give up all of these negative or unfavorable things. So this is an example of how we can get so hung up on something like vegetarian that we forget about Krishna. It's not that we shouldn't be vegetarian. We should be vegetarian, but vegetarian is not the be-all, end-all. So many animals are vegetarian. And they're simply rotating in the cycle of repeated birth, disease, old age, and death without any unknown destination, just cycling through. So Krishna consciousness is not about that. It is part of it and it is supportive, but really what is the purpose? It is to be conscious of Krishna. Garuda, is he vegetarian? No, because that's not his nature. He would eat snakes, maybe fish. And we cannot criticize him for that because that is within his nature. But remembering always to serve Krishna and to be under the guidance of Krishna's pure devotees. This is essential for us to not get caught up in all of the refinements of material consciousness that are so attractive and distracting from the path of pure devotion to Krishna. It's a little fuzzy, but I can't tell. It's still going. Oops. Hare Krishna. Is it still going? Yes.
I can't see that there's no connection there. It's still going.
Okay. Okay. So as I was reading about this subject matter, it was quite interesting. For the purpose of preaching Krishna consciousness, imagine if our Srila Prabhupada, just for one moment, and I know it's going to be controversial, but I have to mention it in this context. Imagine for one moment that, for example, a vaccine was necessary to be able to fly, or take a boat, or go to any other country. And our Srila Prabhupada decided, I can't take the vaccine because it might have some animal ingredients in it. What would become of us? How would we have heard about Krishna? He was willing to do anything for the service of his Gurudev, anything for the service of Krishna. So I'm not saying everyone should go out and take a vaccine. Don't get me wrong. This is a very refined point. Would that have stopped him? Or would he have willingly taken that? He was willing to give up his life 1,000 million times for the service of his Gurudev.
If I have to go to hell to carry out the order of my Guru.
So Sudevi is going to tell us what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada spoke about Guru Nishta, because she has gone through it so many times and put it to heart. What kind of mood should a disciple have toward their Gurudev, their transcendental Gurudev?
I will not listen. Stop. I will not listen to anything anyone says other than the words of my Gurudev, because I know that my Gurudev is Servitor Bhagavan, the servitor of Krishna, and he carries the word of the Supreme Lord. So I will be true to that word in every respect. And then I haven't remembered it, like he said. So he says further on, if I have to become proud, if I have to become a beast, if I have to go to hell to carry out the order of my Guru, who is sent by Krishna, then I want to sign a contract to go to hell for all eternity. There is no good concept within these 14 worlds that is heavier than a particle of dust from the lotus feet of my Gurudev. So I will punch out all other currents of consciousness with a punch of my fist, because I know that one particle of the pollen of the lotus feet of my Gurudev is sufficient to deliver millions upon millions of jivas of this universe. This is Guru Nishta.
Did you hear that? I just realized that the video stream that I was watching was from another day.
Well, no wonder it was good.
I was like, it's very foggy, it's not working. There we are. This is from today.
I'm so embarrassed.
I didn't look at the color of my kurta.
I'm so embarrassed. Get to the book.
So,
I think there were some comments you should check.
Yes, I'm looking now. I was like, the comments don't seem to match.
Well, then see the
Raktambar Prabhu? Yes, it is true that once I saw all of the articles. There was once for some yellow fever vaccine, some devotees went and they actually got it on his behalf, but in other times he did get them. What I'm saying is, I'm going to rephrase what Srila Bhaktivedānta Sridhar Maharaj explained. And And these points are fine. We should understand that everyone in India got vaccines back in the day. This is not a vaccine conversation. So Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj was talking about the Kama Roop group. And then he was comparing them. This means the group of those who are completely dedicated to serving the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. And he said, he was actually referencing that during the war, there was a group of Japanese fighter pilots known as kamikaze. Has everyone heard of kamikaze?
We've heard of kamikazes, not kamikazes.
I think it's with a kame. I don't know how to pronounce it. You can correct me, but I can't hear you. So they gave their life. Basically, they were fighting, and as their planes were being shot down, they decided to utilize every last bit of their potential in the service of their country. So at that moment, instead of bailing out and trying to, save themselves, they thought, let me use my last possible weapon, which was themselves and their fiery airplane, and dive that onto the ships. And so Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj was talking about that in terms of wholesale surrender. And he was saying sometimes in the process of preaching, it may be necessary to incur some burns upon oneself. How is that? If you see that someone's house is on fire and there are people inside screaming for help, if you run inside and save them, and in that process you may incur some burns on your body, is this a cause of being criticized? Oh my God, look at the burns on their body. Or will everyone understand what a great good you did by rescuing those who were burning inside the house? So Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj was speaking about this particular subject, giving everything, even my idea of my own renunciation. In this moment, I'm remembering Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj and our Srila Gurudev. Our Srila Gurudev said he would accompany him to the Ganga to take bath, and he would carry his clothes and everything for him and his towel. And our Gurudev would bring his own lota. It's that container for carrying water. And that was the only thing he had left from his early days, from home. And so Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, he acknowledged, because that lota once, the Ganga took it and brought it to the ocean, so it floated away. And Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj would remind our Gurudev every time he would see him, remember that lota? He told him at that time, you have taken sannyas, you have given up everything, but you did not give up that one attachment. And so that one was also taken from you. And then there was another time when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ordered a devotee, a sannyasi, to dress in a certain way, to wear shoes and everything else. And for a sannyasi, that was generally considered forbidden. But what was higher than that order is the order of guru. And so then Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada told him, now your renunciation is complete. Before he was renounced, but now he had to renounce the renunciation for the greater order, for the greater good. And so the purpose here of telling you this is only about the refinements of yukta vairagya. The point is we can become so caught up in the refinements of the material energy that it actually stops us from progressing on the path of bhakti. That is why it is always essential that one remains under guidance. This word anu, in the verse anyabhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadhyanavrtam, anu kulyena krishnanu, it's another anu, shilanam bhaktir uttama. Anu means constant, steady, like a flow of oil or honey without any drops. Constant and steady. But anu also means in anugatya, under guidance. Bhakti, by its nature, is always under guidance. And even though we might have this feeling that I'm doing really well as a devotee, if we're not under proper guidance, even as within our conception of our doing well, we could possibly be going off. Means off the trail. And I'll give another quick example. Some years ago, a drama was performed where And this was in front of so many sannyasis and gurus. It wasn't within our group, but still so many Vaishnavas, and that drama had so much rasabhas within it. Things which were not actually proper or compatible. And it actually had some moods that were a bit, I want to use the word, offensive toward Srimati Radhika, so aparadha. And everyone was appreciating and thinking it was so beautiful and wonderful because they weren't under guidance of someone who could help to refine these understandings. And so I saw it as a massive train derailment, that it's aparadha and it's rasabhas, it's mixing things, but so many were relishing it and enjoying it. And I began to appreciate the guidance I was receiving from our Srila Gurudev, how he was refining everything. Krishna may beg for the dust from the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika, but Rishabhanunandini Srimati Radhika will never willingly place her feet on the head of Krishna. What a powerful refinement. Krishna is begging for it, but she won't directly do it. He may take it, but she won't put it. Something so small as that, but it is so big as well. So this is why it is essential that we are always under guidance of Vaishnavas, those who can bring us forward on the path of bhakti. So my point in telling these things was not to create a controversy. It was more about being under guidance so that when these potentials for refinement come very close to us, that we will know which direction to turn. We will understand what is taking our mind and our hearts away from the path of bhakti, even though it might seem like it is bhakti. That's why in our scriptures, certain aspects of bhakti are mentioned. There's something called arop siddha bhakti. It looks like bhakti in the same way that a rope looks like a snake, but it might not be bhakti. Then there's sangha siddha bhakti. It's associated with it, but it's not exactly it. Then there's karma mishra bhakti. There's the activities of devotion that we do, but with a desire for some fruitive result. So it's also not pure bhakti. There's jnana mishra bhakti. It's mixed with desire for liberation and freedom from suffering. So these are all different aspects of, you can say, impure bhakti. Some relation is there, but it is not what we are really striving for. What are we striving for? Anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. Pure bhakti, which is exclusively for the happiness, the pleasure, the benefit, and what is favorable for Krishna, under the guidance of the pure devotees. So,
it's called the kamikaze, they've told me.
Okay. Oh, karmikazis. Thank you. Karmikazis. So we've been doing that in this material world, surrendering ourselves to Maya wholesale since time without beginning, cycling through this rotation of birth, disease, old age, and death. And finally, due to great causeless mercy, Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavana Jeev, those jivas who are extremely fortunate. Why? I cannot say. But somehow Krishna has said, okay, it's your time to serve. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Krishna manifests to us in the form of Guru and awakens the tendency to serve Krishna within our heart. Krishna Seva Vasanam. So what an extremely rare fortune. We have an amazing opportunity which has been presented before us. And if we can somehow or other focus exclusively on this under the guidance of the pure devotees, we will be counted among those most fortunate personalities in all of the universe.
Happy birthday to Charmati.
Before I continue with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, today is the birthday celebration of Charumukhi Dasi in Lithuania, the wife of Yamuna Prasad. So, we just want to say a happy birthday to Charumukhi.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Someone asked me today about birthdays. What if I celebrate my own birthday. And I was thinking, you know, I do. But not for the purpose of partying. I really try to look at my birthday as an opportunity for reflection. And so I'm going to speak a little bit about this because it's Charumukhi's birthday.
But before you do, Rakdambar is talking about the gopis willingly giving their foot dust for Krishna when he had a headache.
Is that Rakdambar?
Yes. Oh no, Bernard.
Vasudev.
Yes, Vasudev.
These, very good question. So, it is a different pastime where Krishna is actually begging her, please place your lotus feet on my head. And in this case, that's directly in association with Krishna. In this case, there's also separation. I don't know. Both of the pastimes are there. And we will have to ask any pure Vaishnava to reconcile this because I actually don't have the capacity to do so. So that's why I'm saying it's a very good question. Can you say something about it?
Just in separation from Krishna, they're bereft of serving him. So they're saying, even if I go to hell, it doesn't matter as long as Krishna is happy. In Vrindavan, the moods are quite different. Srimati Radhika, although she's with that proud leftist mood, her nature isn't to directly put her feet on Krishna's head, but Krishna may forcibly do that. Or he may put his head in the dust of their feet. So we know that sometimes he does put his dust in the head of the feet, even of her.
Can you say that again?
His head in the dust.
Of her feet.
Yes, of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. And when she sees this, she gives him entrance. So the foot dust is also there, even in Vrindavan, where he's taking that dust on his head. But she will never willingly place her feet on his head. He may do it. That's the difference. They may give their foot dust. They may do something like that, but literally putting their feet on his head, they may not do.
There's also an example given in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Gopinath,
yes.
He is the nephew of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So every day he would prepare prasadam for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he would also massage him and relax him afterward. So at one point, because Mahaprabhu was blocking the doorway, Gopinath had to enter, and he stepped over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to do so. But then he would not go back the other way. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu woke up, he asked him, why? In order to get in, you stepped over me, but you didn't leave. Why didn't you just step back over me? Gopinath replied, for your service. In order to serve you, then I'm willing to do this. I had to step over you so I could serve you. But now, in order to leave, I don't have any other service, so there's no good reason for me to step back over you again. So these kind of pastimes, they help to reconcile these ideas. Krishna had a severe headache.
Yeah, I was going to say also, one is he's trying to break the man of Srimati Radhika. And so in one sense, she would feel shy and she would feel upset, but to relieve him of a headache, of course they would give their foot dust. It's a completely different circumstance as well.
Right. So depending on the refinement of the context, and that's why it is so important. Oh, Janardhan Prabhu, you asked Gurudev about this pastime once.
Too bad we can't bring you up on screen.
Actually, there is a way to do that, but I don't know how. Not yet. Maybe you can post what you have heard from Srila Gurudev on this subject. But thank you for that amazing question.
Yeah, that was great.
It was a really good question. I love good questions.
All questions are good.
Yes, actually, all questions are good. So, I was talking about birthdays. Because today's Charumukhi's birthday. Charumukhi is a very special person, I have to say. She's got so much conviction in Srila Gurudev. She's like so substantially strong, holding on to his moods, his conceptions, his teachings. And although she might not be the most well-read her faith is so simple, strong and strict in Srila Gurudev. And I would say, from my perspective, that's one of her most amazing qualities, that conviction that she has in Gurudev. And of course, she's very, very nice, very friendly, very loyal. But I want to mention about birthdays. So birthdays. Yes, this devotee asked me, do you celebrate your birthday? And I wrote, yes, but not in terms of partying, rather as an opportunity to reflect. This human form is the only form by which we can endeavor for perfection. And we have entered into this very valuable and rare human form of life, which awards us this amazing opportunity. And so if we look at it from that perspective, you know, sometimes it is said, why should we celebrate entering into this prison of this material body? But we've actually been in this prison of the material world since time without beginning, in so many different bodies. Now we've come into a human form, and this human form has come into the association of Guru, Vaishnavas, Kirtan, Harinam Prabhu, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Thakurji, Vrindavan, Vaishnava association. It is unprecedented. So the opportunity to reflect upon that great gift that we have received. It's not just the human form, because so many millions and billions receive human forms, but those who do not utilize their human forms for endeavoring for perfection, according to Bhagavatam, are considered no different than animals. So Bhagavatam uses the term Dvipada Pashu, two-legged animals. Just like in the bhajan we sang today, Nitai Padakamala, Koti Chandra Shushitala. There it says, Se Pashu Boro Durachar. That person who does not accept and worship the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, then they're no better than animals in this material world. It means animals don't utilize their intelligence for endeavoring for perfection. They're simply engaged in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And those humans who are maybe able to do those four things in a much more, elevated level, are still engaged in doing those same things, then they're not considered really human. They're considered two-legged animals, according to Shastra, according to the scriptures. So this birth, this human life, and the opportunities that have come with it, this is an amazing opportunity that we have received. And what we do with this opportunity, that is the most amazing thing. So when the birthday comes up every year, that birthday time, it's an opportunity to celebrate this amazing opportunity I've received, to reflect upon it. What have I done from that time until now? How have I progressed? How much more have I endeavored to serve Sri Guru and Vaishnavas and Krishna? What have I done with my time? Oh my God, now it's, my time is going toward the next body already. How much have I endeavored to utilize my energy in remembering Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes? And so from that perspective, yes, our birthdays are an amazing thing. It gives us that opportunity, that chance. And so,
Did it stop?
No, but this is going to stop. 1 second. I just need, can you bring that thing closer to here and I can plug it in? Just, a little more. Thank you. Okay. I just looked down and it said 10% battery power left. Okay. Got it. So now,
I'm just worried it's going to go off, so I'm watching it.
Oh. We will continue with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. This is the manifestation of the heart of Satyavrata Muni, which our Srila Gurudev said manifested over quite a long time as he was evolving. Srila Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja uses the term subjective evolution of consciousness. So as his consciousness was evolving, he was manifesting more and more deep appreciation for the rasas, First from Aishwarya Bhav, the awesomeness, the grandeur, the supreme majesty of God, and then going into different aspects of Krishna's pastimes. So he was very attracted to the babyhood pastimes of Krishna, that finally by the end he realized, without the mercy of Srimati Radhika, I will not be able to continue. So he was praying, Namo Radhikaye, Tvadiya Priyaye, Namo Nantalilaye, Devaya Tubhyam. He was praying to Srimati Radhika. So Gurudev said, actually I think it was Sanātana Gosvāmī in his commentary mentioned that it took millions of years for these to manifest. And it was written down in Padma Purana by Ved Vyas, commentaram by Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī. Then Sanātana Gosvāmī's commentary has been translated by our Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Paragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja, who has also injected his own commentary into it. And then our Śrīla Gurudev Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvami Mahārāja has commented on those commentaries as well. So this is an ocean of nectar with many layers of depths, so many beautiful jewels to be revealed. So before investigating this treasure and studying its contents, we will pray the dust of all of their lotus feet in the words of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnaya Apayana Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripam Vidirya Paradukuduki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. And now we're going to continue with this verse 2 commentary by our Śrīla Gurudev Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Verse 2 is Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Rudanta netra yugmam rijantam karam bhoja yugmeno shatam kanetram muhushvasakam patrirekam kakantha stitagraivam damodaram bhaktivadham namamishwaram sachidanandarupam la satkundalam gokule brajamanam. So we just heard about how Krishna, after being tied by his mother, finally, after everything, after binding one rope to the next, thousands and thousands of ropes, she still couldn't bind Krishna. It was 2 fingers too short. Why? Because Krishna was feeling, if my mother binds me, then all my friends will be missing me too much. It's time for me to play, and I have important things to do, like play and steal butter. That was important for Krishna in Sakyaras. So because his concern was to do his important things, his own internal potency, Yogamaya, made it so that Mother Yashoda could not bind him. And so something happened. This is by his Aishwarya Shakti, his great power and potency Shakti, his awe and reverence, supreme majesty potency, was blocking her from binding him. But her Vatsalya Prem, her motherly love and affection, was so great and so intense. She began to pray to Nārayaṇa, vowing to Nārayaṇa, "O my Lord Nārayaṇa, I vow that I will not stop until I'm able to bind my son." Why? Because as Vatsalya Prem demands, the position of a mother is to make sure that her child is disciplined in such a way that he does not end up getting into big, real problems when he's older. So she needs to make sure to train him and to teach him. She caught him red-handed, stealing butter, feeding it to the monkeys, feeding it to the crows, eating it himself, and he was so naughty and cheeky. So finally, as she was praying like this, and her mood was do or die, means no matter what, I must do this, even if it takes my whole life. By that desperate intention, trying to bind Krishna, it is said that the flowers in her hair were falling out, she was sweating profusely, her clothes were loosening, and she was making such an intense endeavor. Excuse me. She was making such an intense endeavor that Krishna's mercy potency, his kripa shakti, mercy potency, which is his prime or main potency, from that all of the other ones are manifesting. So it is his most prominent potency. That one took precedence, took priority, and completely covered his Aishwarya Shakti. Completely covered it. How? Well, the madhurya or the sweetness, rasa of Vrindavan is so great that all of the Aishwarya of all of the Vaikuntha planets combined is like one particle of dust in the unlimited ocean of Brajaras. So his Kripa Shakti came and completely drowned that Aishwarya Shakti. And by that, Mother Yashoda was able to bind Krishna simply with the ribbon from her hair. So, just to see if anyone was listening previously, what do these two fingers represent?
What was the question?
What do the two fingers represent? Sudevi looks like she wants burfi. Okay. Anyone who gets, both of them gets 5 burpees. If you only get one, you get 2 burpees. If you get the other, you get 2 burpees.
Everybody's probably doing it at the same time.
That's okay. Oh, Haripriya Dasi, first one, mercy and endeavor. Very good. You get 5 burpees. Janardhan, 5. Anjali, mercy and endeavor. Awesome. Okay. So, I'm going to be very busy when we're all able to come back together. I hope you like the burpee I make. I'll do my best.
You'll make me make it.
Sudevi will make it for you. Mercy and endeavor. Very good. So Srila Gurudev explained, and our Param Gurudev and Sanatana Gosvāmī Pad, and all of our gurus and all of our shastras, that these two things together, Mahaprabhu explained it also, the kitten logic and the baby monkey logic. Both are necessary. One is our intense endeavor that attracts mercy, but until that mercy descends, it still on its own is not enough. So both are necessary, and that is where that connection takes place. Our ardent endeavor, unstopping, complete conviction, do or die, I must attain that. That intense desire and greed will melt the heart of Bhagavan himself, and then by his own internal potency, this mercy potency takes over, and by that, Mother Yashoda was able to bind him very simply. So now he's bound to that accomplice, his grinding mortar. The grinding mortar he used to step on to steal the butter. So Mother Yashoda decided to tie them together and let him think about it for a while. And then she went to go and continue churning the yogurt to make butter. So then Krishna and his friends, all of his friends came. Baladev Prabhu came. Baladev Prabhu saw, what? Someone bound Krishna? Mind you, they're all very young. Baladev is only like 10 days older than Krishna. But anyhow, he has so much vatsalyata for him. Protective mood, being his older brother. Who bound him? And he was angry. I will punish them. And one of the cowherd boys told Baladev Prabhu, Mayadit, Mother Yashoda bound him. Baladev had tried, but he could not open it. Why? Why could not Baladev Prabhu open the knot? Anyone who can tell me that will get 100 Sukriti points. No. Sudevi's really desperate for the Sukriti points.
He's in Sakya Bhav. And what Vatsalya Prem is about that.
Oh, there's Charumukhi. Welcome, we already did your birthday greetings. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Radhe Radhe. Ha. Devaki, very good. 100 Sukriti points for Devaki. Because Vatsalya Prem is superior to Sakya Prem. So Baladev is as Krishna's brother in Sakya Bhav, friendship mood. He has some Vatsalyata, but Mother Yashoda is the embodiment of Vatsalya Prem for Krishna. So Baladev, as much as he tried, could not untie it. He could not. But who has more love than Vatsalya? Madhurya Ras. Question, this is a yes or no question. For 100 Sukriti points, could anyone in Madhurya Ras untie Mother Yashoda's knot?
Can you say more love or just a superior kind of service in that respect?
The level of dedication and willingness to do anything for the service of Krishna in that form is considered greater, because the gopis utilize every part of themselves in the service of Krishna, giving up all other considerations. So only for the gopis does Krishna say, I cannot repay you for your love
gave the answer.
and affection. Yeah, but already we got a few yeses, so there you go.
Because I've read that Srila Prabhupada says that we can't say that one is more than the other, because in its perfection it is ultimate. It controls Krishna. But according to the service performed,
from the perspective of tattva, essential foundational truth, everything in relation to Krishna in its eternal position is perfect where it's at. So an insect, or a tree, or a cow, or anything is perfect in its relationship with Krishna. And so to suggest to that insect or that deer that it's better to become a gopi, for them it won't make any sense. They are already situated in their perfected state, as they are. So that is perfection for them. However, from the perspective of rasa, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu states, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Yakalpita. The topmost form of worship, which is the most pleasing to Krishna, is that of the young married gopis of Vrindavan. Vrajavadhu Vargena Yakalpita. This is the topmost method of upasana or worship. Means what pleases Krishna the most. And so Krishna, although he's bound at home by his mother's Vatsalya Prem, in essence utilizes the cowherd boys and the cows and the calves to go out in Sakyabhav to play with them as an excuse to get away from them just after lunchtime when they all fall asleep and go to Radha Kund so he can associate with Srimati Radhika and her Svapaksha gopis. So there's a whole chain of events which is taking place, and our Guru Varga has explained that really all of it is a support for this Adi Rasa, this original Rasa. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is higher or this is superior or better, but the depth of transcendental ecstasy, love and affection is experienced more than anywhere only in Radha Kunda. Vaikundash Janito Varamadhutpuri Tatrapi Rasotsavat Vrindaranyamidar Ramanat Tatrapi Govardhana Radha Kunda Mihapi Gokulapate Prema Amrita Plavanat. In Radha Kund, the condensation of transcendental ecstasy is the highest, more than anywhere else.
So basically it's the extent that Krishna tastes love, to that extent we can consider one to be more and more extraordinary.
Yes. But everything is perfect where it is.
Okay.
But there's a speciality of Krishna as well. Everything seems to reverse its nature.
I think it's good to refine these points, that's all.
So even Lakshmi Devi, she's saying, wow, my Prabhu Nārāyaṇa is performing such beautiful pastimes. He's playing a flute and dancing. I want to join that. I've never seen my Nārāyaṇa do this, and I always go with him wherever he performs his pastimes in every avatar. Why am I not there? And so she comes to Vrindavan to speak with Krishna. Different times it is said she's spoken with Yogamaya, other times with Krishna. And Krishna himself is telling her, of course you can join, but there's some requirements. One, you have to take birth from the womb of a gopi. So you have to give up your Brahmani caste and you have to become a gopi, means a Vaishya. She's like, I can do that. And then he said, and you will have to milk cows and make butter from yogurt. She's like, okay, I can do that. And you will have to make cow dung patties like this. She's like, yes, I can do that. And in Vrindavan, there's only Parakiya Ras, Parakiya Bhav. It means you will have to be married to another goat and then have to sneak away from him and meet with me and do rasa. I cannot marry anyone else. She is known as the most chaste, the most glorified person and whose chastity is the most clean. So to this day it is said she is doing austerities in Belvan, Shrivan. Shrivan is the forest of Srimati Radhika. So Lakshmi Devi is taking shelter there of Srimati Radhika, praying for her mercy that she may be able to one day enter into these beautiful pastimes of Krishna, the Rasalila pastimes. So Krishna has this special capacity of breaking everything's nature. A stone is hard, but when Krishna is there playing his flute, that stone begins to melt, and all these footprints are left in those stones. So many places around Vrindavan we can find these footprints melted in the stone. Jamuna is flowing downstream, and then she hears Krishna's flute, and she stops in her course, turns around, and flows toward the source of that sound, and is offering her heart in the form of lotus flowers at the feet of Krishna. So Krishna, he's all attractive, and he has this special capacity to reverse the nature of things. So now I want to continue with Damodarāṣṭakam. We don't have too much time. So I was telling you about Mother Yashoda, how she was able to bind him simply with the rope from her hair. Baladev Prabhu could not untie it because Mother Yashoda's love, Vatsalya Prem, is superior to Sakya Prem in terms of the depth of mamata, means possessiveness, and the depth of protectiveness. So Baladev Prabhu, as Baladev in Sakya Bhav, could not untie it. But in his form as Ananga Manjari, in Gopi, as a Gopi, he could have untied it. Uh-oh.
It happened?
No, why am I getting the low battery signal when this is plugged in? Hold on. 1 second. I'm just making sure that it's plugged in properly. Okay, it's charging now, dear. It's okay. So, Baladev Prabhu could not untie it. So then the cowherd boys and Baladev and all said, okay, Krishna, let's just go. Bring it with you. Bring this grinding mortar with you. So Krishna is crawling, and this grinding mortar is being pulled behind him, and the cowherd boys are laughing. Before, Krishna was a little upset, but now they've decided, let's go. So that they wanted to leave the courtyard of Nanda Baba and go out. And as Krishna was moving, at that moment, he decided, or he remembered, the blessing and, you can say, the curse of Narada Muni toward Nalakubera and Manigriva, the two sons of Kubera. So Narada Muni had cursed them to become trees because they were very disrespectful and they were behaving in a drunken way. They were drunken by their position, their wealth, their high birth, their education, their bodily beauty. They were sporting with the apsaras, naked in the waters. And Narada Muni, when he came, those apsaras, they left that place in shyness. They clothed themselves. They offered respects to Narada Muni. But these two were drunk on all of these qualities that they had within themselves and intoxicated on top of that, which enhanced their drunken experience. And so they began to abuse Narada. Why are you coming here? What's your point? You should leave. Can't you see we're having fun here? So they were disrespectful to him. Narada feigned anger. He showed that he was angry. But the devotee understands what's going on in the hearts of all. Tansarva bhuta hridayam muni mahanakosmi He's situated everywhere. He sees everything, what's going on. He understands. And so in order to give them mercy, he gave them a curse. Because you are behaving like trees, you want to be in such a way, I curse you to become trees. At that moment, they became so afraid, they fell at his feet, begging forgiveness. Narada Muni then gave the blessing. You will take birth as trees, but you will be in the courtyard of Nanda Mahārāja. Krishna will perform all of his pastimes there, and then he will liberate you personally and give you bhava bhakti. So this blessing was given to them. They were there already, very large twin Arjuna trees, very, very big, and Krishna performed all of his sweet childhood pastimes around them. And witnessing all of these pastimes, they were being mercifully benefited. Krishna remembered the promise of Narad, and Krishna is bound to the promise of his pure devotee. Krishna himself may tell lies. We know that he does all the time. I didn't steal butter, or maybe he is telling the truth. Maya mohi me nahi ma kanakayo. Mene hi ma kanakayo. There's a beautiful Braj song. And if you understand the breakup of the words, me nehi ma kanakayo means I have not stolen butter. And mene hi ma kanakayo means I have certainly stolen butter. So both ways, or I've certainly eaten butter. Both ways, there's me nehi and me nehi. It sounds the same. So Krishna is telling his mother, I have not stolen butter, but the other meaning of it is I have certainly eaten the butter. So Krishna swore that he would not take up any weapon in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but when he got upset, he jumped off the chariot, grabbed that chariot wheel, and ran toward grandfather Bhishma with that chariot wheel, means he took up a weapon. And Bhishma Dev was completely fluttered, you can say, that Krishna broke his promise for me. Bhishma Dev put down his weapons and opened his arms and was ready to take it. But Arjuna ran behind Krishna and caught him and reminded him of his vow. So Krishna may have broken his vow, but when Krishna wants to make sure that a vow is kept, then he tells his devotee, you make that vow. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shachvach chantim nigachatim konteya pratijanihi name bhaktya pranashyati. That you declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. Krishna told Arjuna to tell it. So Narada Muni made this promise to them. Krishna remembered, oh, my devotee, my dear devotee made this promise. I must do something. So Krishna somehow managed to go in between these. It's like the twin trees, two trunks coming out of one root. Krishna managed to go in between, and as he was crawling through, the rope behind him was being pulled through, but then that grinding mortar got caught, wedged between the two trees. And at that moment, Krishna looked back. What's stopping me? In one moment, he looked back at those trees with that glare, and everything was burnt to ashes in that minute. It means all of their anartas, aparads, everything in that moment, completely finished. And then those two trees were knocked over, making a very loud, thunderous sound as they crashed to the ground. So, from within those ancient trees, two divine personalities emerged. They circumambulated Krishna and submitted prayers of glorification to him. After they begged to be forgiven for their offense, Krishna explained. Now, Krishna is explaining to them. It is the unfailing result of seeing Sri Narada that even such rogues as the two of you are able to see me face to face. And the sum total of all of the sins you have committed in your countless births has fled far away from you. May you attain bhava bhakti for me. So this is so important. It is so important because it is by the mercy of the pure devotee that Krishna gives his mercy like this. When the pure devotee takes us under their care, despite our many disqualifications, they petition on our behalf, and the Lord is bound to follow their vow, their order. So by their mercy, very easily we can attain that which is otherwise unattainable. So yesterday we were speaking about what Srila Gurudev said here, that which cannot be obtained even after accumulating pious merits, pious credits, for millions of lifetimes, can be achieved very quickly by the causeless mercy of Sri Guru, Vaishnavas and Hari. The devotees who are expert in relishing the loving moods of the Vrajagopis are the treasure house of Lobhamayi Bhakti. That means bhakti which is infused with intense, greedy desire to serve Krishna. And here, intense longing, Gurudev said. Among those devotees, some exemplify one's own desired mood and are affectionate toward oneself. That's sajati ashaya snigdha sangha. Sajatiya snigdha. So, who has that mood that my Atma requires to awaken? What I am inside needs to be awakened by what is similar to itself. So if, let's say, my Atma is meant to be internally, the nature of this Atma is meant to be a gopi, and the person whom I have come to is in Sakya Bhav, in friendship mood for Krishna. They can only help me up to Sakya Bhav, but they cannot fully nourish that mood, even of Vatsalya Prem, what to speak of Gopi Prem. So as in the case of Shyamananda Prabhu, his Gurudev, Hriday Chaitanya, was in Sakya Bhav, as a cowherd-boy. Because Shyamananda's internal, inherent, intrinsic mood was as a gopi, gopi friend of Radha and Krishna, then Hriday Chaitanya sent him for further instruction, further association to Śrīla Jiva Gosvāmī, who's Vilas Manjari. Vilas? In Gopi Bhav. And he was able to nourish him up to his potential. So Sajatiya means like-minded. It doesn't mean someone whose mind is like mine. It means that person who I need to associate with in order to awaken my true, eternal, inherent potential. And then Snigdha means they have affection for us. They care for us. They are endeavoring to try to help us to attain our highest goal. What Hriday Chaitanya did for Shyamananda, sending him forward, this is affection. I can help you up to this point. Now let me affectionately introduce you to that person who can continue to help you toward your highest perfection. So this is necessary. If one gets their association, then he should realize that they are the most dear friends of his soul. Snigdha Devidasi just came on and we were just speaking about Snigdha. How is that? Welcome. So if one gets their association, then he should realize that they are the most dear friends of his soul. So another word for Shri Guru is Atma Bandhu. Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja has famously, because this quote has been published everywhere, said that I am closer to you than the air that you breathe. What does that mean? Air is a material thing. This body is a material thing. But Guru, Chaitya Guru, is Guru in the heart, manifests externally as our Diksha and Shiksha Guru, Krishner Rup, Krishner Swarup. That Guru is always there with us. Whether we have a body, whether we have no body, whether we're in the form of a subtle body, in whatever situation we are going through, more necessary than water, more necessary than food, more necessary than air, more necessary than anything else, that finest requirement, Guru, Paramatma, our eternal relationship with Krishna. This is more than any material substance, whether it's in the form of air or any physical thing. More than that is our eternal friend, the friend of our Atma, Atma Bandhu, and that is Shri Guru. He should realize that they are the most dear friends of his soul. With his life and soul, he should serve them and endeavor to purchase their mood. So there's a verse in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Bhayam dvitiya viniveshatasya isharapeyasya viparyayo smriti tanmayayato buddha abhajittam bhaktyayikayesham gurudevatātma. There is a book that our Gurudev came out with entitled Gurudevatātma. He actually spoke it in many lectures, and then he instructed you should make these lectures into a book. And it's very, very powerful instructions about relationship between any jiva of this world and Guru. So it is saying that fear arises due to misidentification with the body. Fear arises due to misidentification with the body. Bhayam dvitiya bhiniveshatasya isharapeyasya viparyayo smriti. This creates all kinds of difficulties in one's life. But what should one do if they want to come out of that? One should see Sri Gurudev as their own life, their own soul, the dearest friend of their soul, and serve them accordingly. Bhaktyayikayesham gurudevatātma. The same way that we see Bhagavan, we should serve Sri Guru with that same intention, that same intensity, not the same intention. We should understand that Guru is the dearmost servant of the Lord, but we should give Guru equal respect as the representative of Bhagavan. So with his life and soul, he should serve them and endeavor to purchase their mood. Endeavor to purchase their mood. This is something also very deep. We like to think that I am independent. We have independence, but what is our independence at this point in time? Our independence is the choice, in essence, to either be under the control of Krishna's external material energy, Mahamaya, or under the control of Krishna's internal superior energy, Yogamaya. That's pretty much it. Just that. And so the idea that we think that I'm always independent to do it as I like and what I want, this is a little bit far-fetched. In the material world, we are not independent. We are covered by material bodies, many, many layers, and controlled, played upon by the material modes of nature. Goodness, passion, and ignorance, like a puppet, is played upon by a puppet master. So, as Srila Prabhupada prayed in his bhajan, Nachao, Nachao, Prabhu Nachao, he was praying to Krishna, do with me as you like. I'm just like a puppet in your hands. So if you would like me to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance, O Lord. Make me dance as you like. Now we're being made to dance by Maya and the material energy. And so if we give ourselves up to Krishna, Srila Prabhupada explains that this is real independence. Real independence is flowing with the nature of the soul. Right now we are not independent. We are bound in the prison cell of this material world. This place is known as Durga. Durga means fort. It also means to go very far away from bhakti. Dur means far and Ga means to go. And Durga means fort. So it's very difficult to break out of this fort. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Daivihesha gunamayi mamamaya duratteya. That my divine modes of material nature are extremely difficult to come out of. Mam evaye prapadyante mayam etantarandite. But one who surrenders unto me very easily, they can come out. So, in this material world, we are bound and we are performing activities according to our karmas being played upon by the modes of material nature. Independence, in essence, is to flow according to our own intrinsic, inherent nature. Now we have acquired natures in this material world, Nisharga. Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, in the very first chapter of Jaiva Dharma, explains that we are meant to flow naturally, like water flows toward the ocean, naturally. Krishna being the ocean of love, compassion, mercy, everything. Bhakti rasamrita sindhu akila rasamrita murti, the ocean of nectar and bliss. Our nature is to do that. But due to being bound in a frigid environment. What does frigid mean? Cold. That's where refrigerator, frigidaire comes from. What happens when you subject water to an extremely cold environment? It becomes hard and it becomes cold. So what is cold and hard? The heart which is not flowing to Krishna in love and affection is considered cold and hard. So Bhaktivedānta Thakur explains that our hearts have become like this ice. And due to being in such a way for so long, we think that this is how we are meant to be. This is how things should be, how they ought to be, when really they're meant to flow constantly toward Krishna in love and affection. And by the mercy of Sri Guru, we say he's opening our eyes with the torch of knowledge. I think he's melting our ice-like hearts with this torch of knowledge. Then we can begin to flow toward Krishna. Jivera Surupahoy, Krishna Nityadas. The eternal constitutional nature of every soul is to love and serve Krishna. So with one's life and soul, one should serve that person, Sri Guru, who is more dear than his own soul. He should serve them and endeavor to purchase their moods. What does that mean? What is their mood?
Yeah, because Marcus Wendell Vasudev, he's saying, I heard that we should find someone who is similar to our ripened form. So it comes directly into that.
Yes. So endeavor to purchase their mood. What is their mood? Today, Sachi Amy Martin posted a very beautiful quote from our Srila Gurudev about Rupa Gosvāmī. What he spoke about Rupa Gosvāmī and what is our goal, our aspiration, coming under the guidance of Rupa Gosvāmī. What is his eternal mood of loving service to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan? Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and what did he come to give? What is he tasting? What did Rupa Gosvāmī come to give? So definitely, we should find someone who is similar to our ripened form. But how do we know what our ripened form will be? We can't know on our own. Guru kripa bina nahi koi sadhana bal. What is sadhana? Sadhana is the practice that one undergoes to attain a particular goal, which is known as sadhya. If we don't have an idea of what our goal is, then what we are doing cannot be considered sadhana. It might be considered hard work, but it actually is not the effort or the endeavor toward attaining a particular goal. The goal of our sadhana should be bhav bhakti, and the goal of bhav bhakti is prema bhakti. How do we know? Guru kripa bina. Without the mercy of Gurudev, nahi koi sadhana bal. We won't have any strength or even any knowledge how to move forward on the path of sadhana because we won't have any indication of our goal. What Guru does is takes us, focuses us, and then tells us to put all of our attention, all of our focus, all of our everything on the particular goal of our own intrinsic, eternal, inherent nature. What is the nature of this Atma? It's already there. It's inherent. It's nothing to be had from any outside source. It just needs to be awakened and, in essence, nourished. So how do we know what that is? On our own, we might not ever figure it out. But by the mercy of those who are tattvadarshi, those who have that vision, who know the truth, who see the truth, they can detect what is inside. As expertly as any farmer can detect what is the nature of any seed. If we're not a farmer and maybe we haven't ever seen a seed before, we would be confused. But if let's say there's a fruit farmer, he knows the difference between an apple seed, an orange seed, a grape seed, strawberry seed. He knows. And he knows how to grow them in a certain way and give the appropriate sun, nourishment, water, how much cover, how much heat, how much light, and everything. He's expert at nourishing them. In the same way, Sri Guru sees our potential. This is all referencing that chapter in Param Gurudev's biography, Sri Gurudev and the Swarup of the Jiva. Sri Guru can see the potential of that soul. means what is its final outcome? As he said, who is similar to our ripened form. The ripened form is not present yet. We don't see it. But Sri Guru can see that, as a farmer can see what's in a seed. Inside that small little seed, he can see a massive banyan tree in potential. Or one little apple seed. How many apples will come from that in the future? Unlimited. So he can see that, diagnose it, detect it, say this is your goal. Now you should do this sadhana to attain that goal. Not everything that is given in all scriptures are going to be favorable for you to attain your particular goal. So they refine us, they focus us, they give us the necessary enthusiasm, all of the nutrients, the nourishment, the light, the sun and everything, and then the encouragement. Go, go, go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Run on that path. And for one who takes shelter of Sri Guru like that, Bhagavatam says they can run on that path with their eyes closed. So, thank you for that. So, one should serve them and endeavor to purchase their mood. Purchase their mood does not mean that I will be something that's completely not me. But that mood means my mood will be similar. Shri Rupa Manjari Padasem or Samparasem or Bhajan Pujan. What is my goal? What is my aspiration? I will serve with them and like them. The lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. So it's not that everything is one and that I'm going to take your mood and I won't have any personality or individuality. We should be careful not to take it to that extent. But what moods you are serving Krishna in, I want to attain a mood like that. How can such moods be attained? When a person hankers for the same relationship, sambandha, that's relationship, that these great Rasik devotees have with their Swamini, Śrī Radha, and with her companions. And when he hankers to have the same deep possessiveness, mamata, for her, and the same intense inclination to serve her, sevavasana, then he can attain these moods. Srila Gurudev is answering it himself here. The same relationship that they have. It doesn't mean that their relationship is my relationship, but in the same way that they have a relationship, I will also have a relationship. Only then can one truly serve such Rasik personalities, and then is one's life successful. There is no other way. So, I remember once one devotee asked Srila Gurudev, or they mentioned something, in my opinion, I think like this, and Gurudev said, you should try to take the moods of your Gurudev and your Guru Varga. It's not about I think or this or that, especially at this point. What can the material mind do to capture the infinite? So we're dependent upon what we are receiving from our Guru Varga, who are giving us the descending knowledge. It's Krishna's mercies descending through them, through parampara, to us, in order to be able to comprehend or understand anything of the absolute consideration. And from there we begin to do our sadhana, bhajan, toward the attainment of that goal under their guidance, and our ultimate goal will be to serve under their guidance with them, the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika and Krishna in Vrindavan. So, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Don't forget to stay for darshan.
Yes, don't forget to stay for darshan. We managed to actually read one paragraph more than yesterday. Hare Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Shri Gurudev Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Rupal Guru Varga Ki Jai Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai Radha Vino Bihari Ju Ki Jai Giriraj Mahārāja Ki Jai Hari Nama Sankirtan Ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai Gaura Bhaktivedānta Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and also for giving us the daily opportunity to endeavor to render service to our Gurudev and follow his order. For that we are indebted to each and every one of you. We look forward to being with you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranams. Hare Krishna. It's actually a onesie. I don't know if I can show you.
Well, don't cover the other little one.
I'm just trying to show them. It goes all the way back. I just put a skirt over it. He's got
Where
a
did
onesie.
he get a onesie from?
He's got two onesies. He's a baby.
Two onesies?
He's got two.
Does he have any twosies?
Happy birthday, Charumuki.
Happy birthday. Radha Vino Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shachinandana Gaura Hari
Ki Jai. Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. I'll show you tomorrow better the whole onesie. Haribol, Radhe Radhe.